Welcome to State Insurance USA Cares podcast, where we celebrate the heart of our communities. Each episode, we highlight local charities and nonprofits who are bringing hope, help, and healing to those who need it most. Get ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of people making a difference, because together, we care.
Welcome, Fort Myers Beach good neighbors. Today we have Tisha Bayne from Keep Lee County Beautiful. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
Yeah, pleasure to have you on the show and share what you do to keep Lee County beautiful, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, as you said, my name is Tisha. I've been with Keep Lee County Beautiful going on 8 years now. I'm the communications and special events manager. And our organization, we have been around serving Lee County for 37 years. We're the largest volunteer-based community action and education organization here in Lee County.
Wow.
Yep. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and engage the community in environmental stewardship. We have lots of ways that you can get involved working with us and making a difference in the community.
So what types of things, how do you guys, so what does Keep Lee County Beautiful? Let's explain for our listeners that don't know and aren't so aware of what you guys do. What type of things are you doing in the community?
Okay. Yeah, well, we're volunteer based. So we work with 3,000 to 4,000 volunteers every year.
Okay.
We organize over 200 community cleanups each year. And we also plant hundreds of trees and shrubs as we're, trying to reestablish our native canopies. But through these cleanups, our volunteers remove over 50,000 pounds of trash and debris from the environment each year. And education is a big part of our mission as well. So we are out there in the community at events, speaking with over 25,000 individuals each year about the importance of protecting our local environment. We have a lot of different programs. So one way that someone could get involved with us is our adoption programs. Okay. So any individual or group can adopt a shoreline on Fort Myers Beach, or a road or a park, something like that. And then they commit to doing at least 4 cleanups a year. And we provide all of the supplies to the volunteers, to all of our adoption groups. That's what we do. We organize events, we provide all the supplies. And then every year we have certain annual cleanups. So on New Year's Day, we're on Fort Myers Beach cleanup. And then in the spring is our Great American Cleanup. That's what that's taking place right now. Yeah. And this year it's the Greatest American Cleanup because it's America's 250th anniversary. So we've been holding cleanups all through March across the county. We have a bunch of cleanups still going on all through April, including Fort Myers Beach, and these will go into May. And we also, in April, it's Earth Month. So it's a busy month for us. We have our Earth Day cleanup on the 22nd. We also host our Global Youth Service Day event. So those are community-wide. We cover Fort Myers Beach. We cover all of Lee County. Lee County is 1,212 square miles.
It's a big area.
It is. But then we get through Great American Cleanup. Then we're back on Fort Myers Beach specific for the 5th of July cleanup. So we need to do that after all the 4th of July celebrations.
I'm seeing a big correlation between big events and cleanups, right?
Yes, exactly. And then in the September, we have our International Coastal Cleanup. So that's another community-wide event where we will have, thousands of volunteers at multiple locations all across the county. And then finally, then at the end of October, we're going to have our Monofilament Madness, which is our marine cleanup. So that one will have kayakers and boaters that are out there in the Estero Bay and they're removing, the discarded fishing line and any trash and debris from the mangrove areas. So for that, I know we always launch out of Salty Sam's Marina. There's going to be another marina location this year. In the past, we've also had kayakers launch from the Mound House.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's coming up. We're finalizing all those details. That's a big one that we push on Fort Myers Beach. We always need more boaters to get involved for that event. That's a big one for us.
So it sounds like, caring for the coastal community and our shorelines and everything, there's a lot that goes into that, but it comes with certain challenges, right?
Yes.
What's been one of the biggest hurdles for you as an organization in doing that?
The biggest challenge that we've been facing is parking and getting access to like the beach specifically. Yep. So, because we coordinate these events, we can have 100 volunteers show up. And we need to secure parking. We need to secure a location of properly disposing the trash, whether we bring in a dumpster or the town always helps us as well, the town staff. So that's the biggest challenge is parking right now on the island. And obviously I know that, Lynn Hall's closed right now, which kind of affects all the other parking lots on the island, but that's the biggest challenge. If, we would love to work with more local businesses about that. Now, Norm's Beach Parking has been a great partner, always supports our volunteers. And then the town, as I said, has been great. Their staff helps us, get everything cleaned up. But if there would be more local businesses who would just help with parking, being willing to let our volunteers park there for a couple hours on a Saturday morning and access the beach so they could do more, that's the biggest challenge.
Well, and you also mentioned the ability for local businesses on the beach or close to the beach to sponsor a certain stretch, kind of like you see on the highways, right? Protect, let's this section of land is sponsored by so and so and they're responsible for keeping it clean. So
yes, we have multiple adoption groups, that have different sections of the beach. The Pink Shell, they're one of our adoption groups. Okay. So, they go out and they keep their section right by, their location clean for everyone who wants to come visit. Yeah.
I love that. So is there a cleanup project or story that really kind of captures what you do and, the real meaning and joy behind what you do?
Oh, gosh.
I put you on the spot. I know.
You did put me on the spot on that one.
Well, what's one of the proudest things that you've done as far as an organization that you like to brag about?
Yeah, I think what we can brag about is the amazing volunteers. I mean, there are these volunteers that come out year after year after year. They always come out. They always show up. And we couldn't do our work without the amazing volunteers. And then we're so proud of that. And then we're proud of, we have some really long-standing relationships in the community, with the town and others like on the island, the Fort Myers Beach Community Foundation. They've been a partner of ours since the very beginning. And, we've been around for over 35 years where we've been doing this.
That is great. That is great.
Yeah.
So, environmental trends. Are you seeing something locally now that, maybe people should be paying a little bit more attention to?
There's always trends that come and go. The biggest challenge, I think, is getting people to change their behavior. Is the biggest challenge. You always find the most amount of trash right by a garbage can.
They have the right idea, but they just can't get it quite in.
Something like that. Right. So it's just changing the behavior. A big part of our mission is education. And so that's what we are always trying to do. We want to, and with Fort Myers Beach, with the population, the tourism, the draw to the beautiful beach, sadly, it does bring litter.
Yeah.
And so, we focus on litter prevention and recycling and just in our cleanups. And the more that we're able to access the beach and organize more events, then that gives us more opportunities to educate about protecting and preserving the environment and the importance of it.
And you've kind of got what we call like the perfect storm, for lack of better words, but with the waterways, the wildlife, the tourism, and then the storm recovery on top of it. So you have all of this excess, I would say, material or garbage, as you might say, that is out there that's affecting the environment one way or the other. So it's not just picking up a plastic bottle. There's other things out there as well that we need to pay attention to, right?
Right, exactly. And, we did, obviously, we're involved with the mass cleanups that we had, after the awful storms, that our community went through. And then we have been able to now focus on, the planting the trees, like trying to reestablish what was lost. And so we're working with that. And we talked to the town, and I know, they, were able to plant some more sea oats and things like that. So those type of projects, replanting and stuff like by the beach access points and just trying to get things back, to where they were.
Yep. Yeah. It's an ongoing project, but one that we continue to work on down here at Fort Myers Beach. So your side of the story, how did you get involved in all this?
I was a volunteer. So I volunteered and loved volunteering. And then I found out that they were hiring. It was just a part-time like admin position at the time. Mm-hmm. So I took that, and then it grew into, much more. So we are a very small staff, though. So again, we're volunteer based. So we're a staff of 4.
Wow.
Right now. Yeah. So
and you do quite a bit. You do quite a bit around the area, because I see you guys around.
We do. And again, we have the amazing volunteers. And a big thing then that we have is, myself and my, counterparts, we can't be everywhere. We will have, like, for Great American Cleanup, Coastal Cleanup, we could have 25 sites clean up at the same time. So we have people who volunteer as site captains. So they run the site, we give them training and supplies. They'll run the site for us. So we couldn't do it without those volunteers. And then we have an ambassador program. So anyone on, any resident or visitor from Fort Myers Beach, they can volunteer as one of our ambassadors, representing Keep Lee County beautiful in the community. On our website, klcb.org, there is a volunteer application form they can fill out if they want to try to get involved that way.
Love it. A lot of ways to get involved. Is there one simple action that our listeners or every resident, what on the beach or not on the beach, could do that would really make a big difference in what you're trying to achieve?
Well, I kind of mentioned it about, changing the behavior and, being aware of that. I mean, so our goal, which would basically put us out of business, would be that there would be no more litter, right?
That'd be a good thing, right?
Yes, it'd be a good thing. And then, there'd be no more trees that need to be planted. Everything, was established. But that's not how it is right now. And it really is the fact that every single person, every day, your commute to work, you're walking to work, you go for a walk on the beach, everyone can clean up just their own area and, change that behavior to not litter. And it really does make a difference where we live. As where we live, everything that's the trash that's on the ground ends up in our waterways.
Yep.
And that's what we don't want, is for it to end up in our waterways.
And I've done a number of events with you already, and I love what you guys do. And one thing I think it's kind of embedded in my mind now is when I walk past something, whether on the beach, whether on the street or something, and I see something on the ground, garbage, I go over and pick it up now. you know, where so many people just walk past it, and it takes 2
it.
seconds to pick it up and throw it in a garbage can or take it to a garbage can.
Yeah.
You know, it's something simple, but you don't think about it until you're really going, okay, well, if I don't pick it up, who's going to pick it up? And if they don't pick it up, it's going to end up in the waterways. It's going to end in, you know, wherever it may go.
Yeah.
But, and we don't
Exactly.
want to get there.
And that's what happens when at our events, like we were at that event together, and people volunteer. And once they participate, then they realize the importance of it and how easy it is to make a difference. And then it does bring that awareness of what each person can really do.
And that's the important side of it. It's the awareness, the education. So where can listeners go to learn more, volunteer, or support your mission?
So our website is klcb.org. So everything's there. The best way to stay updated, because things are constantly changing, is our social media, Facebook and Instagram. But then on our website, we do have an event calendar that's updated. There's also a monthly newsletter. And then we have an Eventbrite page that you can follow. And that's where our registration for all of our events is handled through Eventbrite. And like I said, right now we have some cleanups coming up and there's spots open. I actually just posted today, we just had a large group cancel for a cleanup that's taking place tomorrow morning at Bowditch. So we have spots open. And so I posted that, and I know it was already shared. So hopefully, you know, people can sign up, because of course we want to fill it up and make it the best that it can be.
Absolutely. It's all the grand picture and the big picture of keeping Lee County beautiful, but not just Lee County. Everywhere we go, we want to make sure it's clean and it's you know, it's nice for generations to come. Correct?
Exactly.
So any last words for our listeners today?
No, I mean, I think the biggest thing is if people could, just follow us, follow us on social media. That makes a big difference. Sharing our events, getting involved. I mean, you don't have to, like, for the ambassadors, if you want to do something like that, it's on your schedule, what you want to do. We would just tell you about, there's different things that are happening. And if you want to help out any little way, like I said, we're a small staff. So we rely on, the support of our volunteers and all of our sponsors really make it happen.
So get out there and make it happen, Fort Myers Beach and Lee County in general.
Yep.
So Tisha, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Thank you for being such a good neighbor, and we'll see you at the next cleanup. All right.
I'll see you there. Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on State Insurance USA Cares. We hope today's story uplifted and inspired you. If you'd like to support or learn more about the incredible work happening in your community, visit stateinsuranceusa.com or call 239-567-9992. You can also visit CaboWaboGym.com. Until next time, be sure to let your sun shine and keep sharing good and positive vibes wherever the waves take you.